Um, Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone on the platform. My name is Princess Nwakego Ibrahim-Pam. I'm the founder and chairperson of the Expert Professional and Business Women's Network International. This is an organization that was founded in 2013 in Tunisia, basically to be a help platform for expatriate spouses that trail with their husbands or wives across continents. And when we started, we were 25 women from 18 different countries around the world. And our main objective was to support one another in capacity building, being able to keep our CVs active so that anytime we go back home, there won't be any gaps in our working experience. And we also put us at par with our peers we left back home. We also do training, workshops, seminars for women who want to start businesses. We have a project called Starting Your Businesses from Zero Capital. We were teaching the women how they use what they have in their homes or their skills without having any huge capital to start their businesses. And I'm happy to say, at least for the hundreds of women that have joined the network, we have very successful women who started digital business without any income or capital, and they're excelling and they're in different boards of organizations around the world. So that's my pet project, and that is one of the achievements that makes me so glad to see that when we think that things are impossible, they are very impossible. When women come together, great things happen. So I have various women in different countries, in different fields, who have achieved so much by just being part of this network. We also work with the African Development Bank. Now, as a spouse of the World Bank, I'm also collaborating with the World Bank Family Network. We work with embassies around the world. We work mostly with universities, where we also have a mentorship program where I give special lecture to graduate and postgraduate and PhD students on diversity in global stage. We also work with private institutions, we work with NGOs, and we also work with individuals that align their goals and objectives with the Expert Professional and Business Women's Network International. So today's program, which is called the EPBWNI, one-on-one interview with Princess Nwakego Ibrahim-Pam, was the pet project of the year 2025, because each year we develop a project that we can reach out to women in ways that it can impact our members. We also have a publishing house where we have a pet project called the Niche Project, where women in different countries tell their story to be able to make passive income. And we'll have series one, the niche one, niche two. We're working on niche three. We have about 30 women who have authored their own stories, and we work with them if they want to develop their individual stories in the collective memoir into an individual book. So we have that. We have the niche project. We have a publishing house where we offer our members the opportunity to publish their stories without it being too expensive. Then we also have an international summit called the EPBWN International Leadership and Empowerment Summit that we do. It should be an annual event, but due to my circumstances, again, moving around the world, we have just relocated from South Korea to America, and so I'm still settling down. So we're hoping that this year we'll be having our pet flagship summit here in DC or Florida, Melbourne, Florida. So you're all welcome to this interview. I would now like to introduce our special guest speaker today, who is a friend. I'll wait for her to come on camera. Ebere Akadiri, a friend, a sister, who were all together in The Hague. And also we consulted when she wanted to start some of her businesses, and we talked about it, and thank God we're here today. And I'm also happy and glad to have been part of her life and her journey. And it's also a privilege to have her today to interview her so that she can tell her story in depth for me to know more of her achievements since I left The Hague, and for other people who are listening to get to know her better. But before we do that, I would just like to, I'm already sharing a her profile. I think I have to find my way back to that. Okay. I think I'll minimize myself so I can see. Yeah. So I did a very short PowerPoint for her because Ebere is just like me, too diverse to be able to capture her with one or two sentences. So I came up with this idea. Okay, let me just put it down for her and I'll send it to her later. Ebere Kadiri, pioneering impact in The Hague, highlighting significant contribution to various sectors. So Ebere's life is not just about being a wife, a mother, a businesswoman, or an entrepreneur. Ebere's life is a life of testimony of the tenacity that a woman can embody, and that's what she embodies. The tenacity that she set her minds to doing something and she gets it done. And for years, I've been watching her. We've been working together, and I've seen the progress she's made from the last time we spoke together. So Ebere Kadire is a phenomenal woman. And so uh, this is her looking beautiful, beautiful as beautiful as she is, so is her heart and her intention towards empowerment and improving the lives of women around the world. These are just one of our events I saw on her Facebook page to show you her her intensity, her intentional goals in communicating with people, building inclusion through male allyship. Fantastic. You know, when I started the network, and it was a women's network. The male spouses were like, Mrs. Pam, Princess, what is happening? Are we not included in this network? Why is it only women? And I felt so bad. So throughout the years now, about 5 years into the network, we decided to open it up to the men. And so now we have male spouses reaching out to us, how they want to start a business, how can we mentor them to write their CV, prepare them for interviews, and I see a lot of respect from them, seeing that there's so much as a man. They benefit from a woman's network, so they take us serious. They know, oh, it's not just clap and dance like my husband will usually refer to that. This network impacts lives. So this is our signature walk with her. I remember when Ebere was talking about Ataro spices. It was like out there, something that is impossible in The Hague. But I've seen this woman develop something, a concept into reality. And looking at these pictures, you know, and that's the most beautiful thing I can ever say about you, that just the way you portray not only Nigeria but West African cuisine around The Hague and the world, and your tenacity in making this huge project come to life. So as I welcome uh, Ebere Kadiri, she will tell us her story in the light of who she is, who she wants to be, and her aspiration as a leader, as a founder, as an entrepreneur for all the women who come in contact with her. So, Ebere Kadri, you're welcome to this one-on-one interview with Princess Nwakego Ibrahim-Pam. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Princess Nwakego. Really my pleasure to be here. Do you want to spotlight me just to
Yeah.
help you with your recording later?
Okay, thank you. I just want to take a picture first and then. Okay.
Okay. I also want to appreciate the Rise and Lead Women community who are here to support us and listen to this story. So thank you, all of you. We appreciate you. Um, and then thank you. So I'm going to start now, right?
Yes.
Or should I wait?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So now, where do I start from? When I received this invitation, I started thinking, wow, my story. I hardly share my story. Many people know I don't share my story. I share it once in a while, but not all the time. So I started thinking, what part of my story should I share? Because my journey has been a long one.
Yeah.
First of all, my name is Ebere Akadiri. I am an entrepreneur, business, and leadership strategist. My journey to becoming an entrepreneur has been laced with challenges along the way. Too many challenges. But
Yeah.
one thing I know, one thing I have come to learn, and for all of you watching, is that the challenges I've faced have taught me that no matter what you lose on your journey to becoming, there is one thing you can never lose. It's you. I can't
Mm,
lose you
mm,
because it's you with all your experiences, you with all your stories, you with all your gifts and your creativity. You never lose it because that's
mm.
my story.
Yeah.
And these are the things that help us as women to rebuild, especially those of us who are expats.
Mm,
This helps us to rebuild our career or business, even when we lose our jobs. When we remember this, it's going to help us to rebuild our careers and our businesses, especially as an expat.
yeah.
Somehow I didn't know that this journey filled with some kind of challenges, setbacks, that it would lead me to a place where I have built businesses, multiple businesses. I've been able to create a platform that supports women's leadership development. I've been able to advocate for an inclusive world. And personally, I have been able to mentor a lot of aspiring female entrepreneurs just to help them rise and build their own businesses. Now, let me take you back because I want to share my story with you today. But the most important thing is that I want to invite you to see your own challenges as seeds of possibility.
Mm,
That's what has helped me. That mindset that no matter what I face tomorrow, is okay, I'll rise again. And now let me take you back to 1999, some decades back,
mm,
when I was working for an oil servicing company. You see, I studied food science and technology in university, the University of Technology. So I was among the less than 1% of women in my uni.
mm,
I studied food science and technology, but somehow I didn't really want to go into food at that time. I decided, you know what, I'm going to find a job in a nice office.
mm,
So I did. I found a job in an oil servicing company. Maybe I wanted to go to places where they paid well. I,
mm,
I found an oil servicing company, and after my internship, because of my work ethics, I was hungry to learn. I'm not a secretary, but I learned how to do all of that. They said, you know what? Once you graduate, come back. We'll have a job for you. Then they hired me, and within, say, 6 months, they made me the secretary to the most senior leader in that company.
mm.
And I learned everything on the job. But of course, when my boss left, I knew I was in trouble. Within 2 years, the HR said, you know what? Okay, first of all, the company had issues. There were economic crises. And so here I was, 7 months pregnant. 7 months with my first daughter. And then I lost my job.
Mm,
It was devastating. I felt hurt because I worked too hard.
mm,
I did work a lot. They're like, oh, sorry. We are doing a lot of changes. Of course, it wasn't only me. Too many people were affected, especially younger ones. And so I left. But then I said to myself, who is going to rehire me when I'm 7 months pregnant? I
mm,
mean, which HR is even going to look at me at that time? So it wasn't going to happen. So I made up my mind that I was going to start something on my own. Of course, the first one, I invested in the wrong business. I had no passion for it. So I lost all the money. And now I remembered, like, okay, let me travel abroad and buy clothes for women. The first set that I bought, I came back, families, friends, they bought all of them. You know it, in Nigeria, they didn't pay. Again, I lost all the money. And then I said, you know what? I'm not giving up. I'm going to do it again, but this time I need a location so that people will pay. Unfortunately, I ended up in a wrong location. In fact, at this time, all the money was gone.
Hmm.
And that was enough to stop me. Like to say, okay, you know what? My husband was okay. Let me just go take care of children.
Hmm.
But one day, my sister said, Ebere, this is not who you are. You're going to go try again. And so that day, I decided, yes, I'm going to try again, but I have to learn how to do this thing called business. I can't be throwing money away.
Hmm.
And that taught me something. You don't know what you do not know.
Hmm.
A lot of women start a business and say, hey, I have a business, I have a website, I have this. But they don't even know what they're doing. They don't understand the operations, the marketing, the visioning. And that was what I learned in a 3-day entrepreneurship boot camp.
Hmm.
Changed everything for me. This business that I closed down, I reopened it, and within 6 months, I recovered all my losses, all of it. And since that, I also promised myself my businesses are not going to fail again. Since then, I've been a lifelong learner. Try to learn everything about business, anything at all, I'll learn it. Marketing, sales, getting networking, whatever it is, I had to learn. And today I mentor other women. I say to them, you have to learn. You're gonna
Hmm.
invest in your skills, you have to invest in your trade, you have to invest in all of this. And so again, I think that business, it was a clothing business. I had it for like 8 years. And then I kept feeling, I kept having this pulling to do something else.
Hmm.
Well, I didn't want to close it down. So I had this intuition, if more like a prophecy, that there's something more that I ought to do. And then I remembered my childhood dream was to own a restaurant. I studied food science and technology in university. I did a lot of internship with food companies. So I always dreamt of owning a fast casual restaurant. So, but I didn't know that it takes a lot of money to do something like that. I'm always a dreamer. Like when I saw that it was going to take millions, I was like, no way, how am I going to do this? But there's something I want to tell everybody listening. If your dream or your vision may be big and scary, once you start to take action, the resources will show up because confidence doesn't come after what before you start. It comes when you have taken action. So I remember building that restaurant with not knowing where the money was coming from, but that first business I had helped me to kind of build, set up the restaurant. But of course, to have a restaurant, you need equipment in millions. I didn't have it.
Hmm.
So I started going from one bank to another, went to 7 banks to get a bank loan. The seventh one, a woman who I think she attended my wedding, she looked at me and said, Ebere, I see your passion. I'm going to make sure we approve this loan, even though you do not qualify.
Hmm.
And that was how, of course, I pray a lot. And then they approved the loan. I started a restaurant business, and
Yeah.
it went so well. Like within 1 month, we were serving 200 people.
Yeah, please let me come in here because he said something that really touched me. Kudos to that bank manager, a woman who
Yeah,
saw another woman, who
yeah.
saw beyond regulations and laws and rules that makes it difficult for women like us to access funding. And she took a chance on you. And
She
she
did.
she 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 took a discretionary decision that even though you were not legally, should I put it that way, or
I didn't qualify for
you
it. I
didn't
didn't have a
qualify for
collateral.
this thing, but she took a chance on you and you made it happen. Also,
Yeah.
congratulations to you that it's women like you who make things happen that open doors for other women. And I pray that when we also find ourselves in position of that bank manager, a woman, who also have the grace, will have the discernment and the discretion to also look beyond regulations and laws to help other women succeed like you. So I want
That
to also use this opportunity to welcome all the people here with us. I will ask for your indulgence to change the Zoom user to your proper name so we can address you and so we can know that we're all in a safe space, knowing that we know each other's name. So I want to welcome Rhoda, Laura, Gerarda, and then Mafeng and the Zoom user. Thank you for being here. And also would ask all of you to unmute and just say a brief welcome and greetings to our special guest of honor today, Ebere Kadiri. Please, can you all unmute and just say welcome to her before she continues with her wonderful stories? And if you can put on your camera, that would be
thank
fantastic
you.
so she can see.
Thank you.
Okay. Please unmute and say welcome so she knows she's not here alone.
Welcome, Miss Ebere.
Yeah, thank you very much. Hi, Laura.
Thank you, Laura.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you.
Hi, Ebere.
Thank Hey,
Welcome.
Geralda. I'm welcoming you too. Thank
Thank,
you.
thank you. Thank you. So we'll now hand over to Ebere to continue with a fantastic story. I'm taking notes to let you know as you speak and I get some powerful nuggets. I'm just writing them down, which I will throw back to you later. So continue.
Good. Thank you. So, like I said, I losing my job forced me into becoming an entrepreneur, and
Mm,
from selling female clothings,
mm,
don't know what I have with women. I just do everything around women, to opening my own restaurant. Thank God, both men and women were coming to the restaurant. So I'm not anti-men by any means. Um, so I the restaurant did well because of all the failures I had initially. Because
mm,
when it's better to fail in business, fail very fast because it can help you to learn what you didn't know. So I
mm,
took all my learnings and poured it into this restaurant, and I tell you, it was successful. And within 3 years, we were in 7 sales location. I hired about 56 employees. We had a lot of casual employees as well,
mm,
and it was doing very well. And then one day,
mm,
the journey to becoming an expat spouse came. My husband was asked to move to the Netherlands. This was in 2013. It was the hardest decision I had to make in my life, walking
mm,
away from 56 employees and customers who have been coming for like 5 years nonstop. And it was just another time of challenge. It was another challenge.
yeah.
But now coming to the Netherlands, the thing about it, of course, for those of you who are expats, you know how it is that when you move to another country, it always feels like your qualifications is nothing. You feel undermined. You feel like people don't see you. It feels like you've lost your identity.
Mm,
I felt this way. I didn't even know who I was anymore.
mm,
And then I think it was in the moment of prayer, like I kept seeking spiritual wisdom to
mm,
understand what I should be doing at this time. And this is one thing I learned. Anytime there are challenges, is a call to inquire from within and see, hey, what is it? I
mm,
don't know what you believe in. I believe in God. I always say, hey, what is God calling me to do right now?
mm,
And this was when I to be honest, I didn't know what to do. I went to my neighbors. We had a barbecue, and everybody was bringing chicken from their fridge to their barbecue stand. I'm like, what? Excuse me. What about spices? Like, are you gonna eat this chicken like this? It's gonna be tasteless. And so I ran back to my house, brought my suya spices, just marinated the chicken, and everybody was like, oh my God, what is this? Just the aroma filled the whole place.
mm.
And then I started inviting friends to come to my house and eat African food. And before too long, one of my friends said, hey, Ebere, come and teach children how to make jollof rice. I did. And then their mothers say, hey, I would like to learn. I say, you have to pay.
Yes.
I did it for the children for
That's the
free,
big,
but you mothers, you have to pay.
that's
And that
the
was
business
how
side of it.
yeah, I started my first business without even any investment because they paid me in advance. I still remember 350 euros. That's what they paid me to offer them cooking workshops. And that little cooking workshop in school became popular in the Netherlands.
Hmm,
It did. And that's what led to Ataro Foods.
hmm,
That's what led to Ataro Foods. And one thing I've learned is that, it doesn't matter how small, whatever it is you're
yeah.
starting, even if your vision is too big, start small.
Small.
Start small. Don't give excuses. Don't think it has to be perfect,
Right.
especially when you work in a corporate environment and you have this idea of corporate. No, you're no longer corporate. You are a small business owner. I was
Mhm.
cooking, I was washing up, I was doing things. I forgot the fact that I was a CEO back home.
Hmm,
I started serving people. And that taught me how to serve people with heart.
hmm,
And before too long, Ataro again became very popular in the Netherlands, where
hmm,
companies, Shell, different companies were bringing their team to my kitchen. But
hmm.
I knew again that there was something, I was being called to something else. It wasn't really about food. I did it something as a pet project. And when that feeling came, I knew there was something else. And one of what was that? It was the fact that I was attending different networking meetings and it was so transactional.
Yeah.
There was no real connection within the communities I met
Yes.
here.
I remember that you took me to one. You remember when I came
Yes,
to The
I
Hague
did.
in
I was going
2015?
to all of them. I'm like, no. First of all, the mindset is not where, like, I wanted something more. Like, I wanted
Mm,
people having conversation about women in leadership. I wanted to see people talking about building companies.
mm.
I couldn't find it. And then I had a mentor who said, Ebere, if you can't find what you're looking for,
Make it.
create it.
Mm,
And that was the idea for Rise and Lead. Rise and Lead Women was actually set up as is a platform to bring women together,
mhm.
to encourage them and to inspire them to rise and to lead, whether it's leading in their offices or in their businesses.
Yeah.
So Rise and Lead actually started very small, and before too long, again, it started like a seed, it's grown.
Yeah.
Of course, you can see my team here now with us.
Mhm.
You can see my team, and we have a lot of more people who support what we do.
Yeah.
Rise and Lead is
Yeah.
a movement to connect women, to inspire them, to build, to build capacity, to become leaders who can make an impact.
Mm.
Sorry, my son is here. Okay. So that's how Rise and Lead, so Rise and Lead just started to bring women together in 2018. In 2019, it evolved to bring companies to be able to support companies to drive equity, inclusion, and build a culture where women can thrive. Through Rise and Lead, we have offered several leadership development programs to several women who are now being promoted even up to the level of COO in Fortune 500 companies. Some of them got promoted two times within a year. And it's all that entrepreneurial thinking that I use to develop a leadership development program. And of course, I went to back to university in the Netherlands to pursue a master's degree in management and leadership. So I created those leadership programs that are helping women.
Mm.
And today, like the question you asked me is like, what is the future? What are we trying to do?
Yeah.
Rise and Lead still has a lot of potential
Mm.
that is untapped. So we're in the process of partnering with different experts, like the allyship you saw. We are creating more educational programs. We just concluded our elite keynote mastery for executives to help them build influence and become keynote speakers who can make an impact, share their stories on stage. And it was a success. So Rise and Lead is this is just the beginning for Rise and Lead. We're opening it up for people to partner with us and bring their ideas so that we can actually get more women into top leadership so we can close the leadership gap.
Yes,
Now,
exactly.
people always ask me, Ebere, apart from Rise and Lead, who are you? What do you do? Yeah. Yes, because actually wanted Rise and Lead to succeed. So I poured in my all into it.
Yeah,
And then I also noticed that when you're doing something passionately, people come to help you.
yeah.
So Rise and Lead is not something I've built alone.
Mm,
It's something different people, some people you're seeing here today.
mm.
Somebody like Gerarda has been with us for maybe like 7 years or so. And
Fantastic.
Rhoda is just joined us, Laura, and these are people who help us to make sure we create this impact to amplify the work we do.
Mm,
Okay, and so I don't take it for granted to take all the glory, right? No. Now, one thing I've come to see is that have a vision,
mm.
when you have a vision about something, sometimes you're not even clear about that vision.
Exactly.
Rise and Lead started with like, you know what? Women need to be taken seriously.
Mm,
Because we still live in a world where mothers are being penalized. I lost my job when I was 7 months pregnant.
mm,
We're living in a world where female entrepreneurs do not get funding. Think less than 2% in Europe.
mhm.
We're living in a world where women are being, their gifts are, they kind of look at it as
Overlooked.
just pet project is nothing. They can't build
Yeah.
big companies. And that's something I wanted to change. I want
Mm,
women to take hold of their own destiny and unleash their potential
yeah.
and don't have to allow society to dictate what you have to or not do. And so
Fantastic.
that's why I believe that Rise and Lead is going places. And so in all this, my story, like I said, Rise and Lead is still moving forward. Some of the things I've learned, which I like to share with your community, is,
Mm,
some of these lessons is number one, you need to embrace challenges as a stepping stone. Anytime you encounter any type of detour or a challenge on your way, remember that you can lose everything, but never lose you. Your
mm.
expertise, your stories, your gifts, your creativity, you can build again. You can recreate again. And that brings me to my second lesson. We always talk about financial independence, and people
Mm.
think financial independence is your ability to have money in the bank. Nope,
No,
that's
no.
not. Financial independence for me is your ability to create funds, create
Mm.
money when it's not there. And how do you do it? Your ideas, your knowledge, your expertise, your gift.
Fantastic.
Those things are money. You just need to learn how to turn them into income.
I'm
And then the
so,
third, the
so
third,
happy. Please let me come in here.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
so, so happy that you share the same mindset with me concerning financial independence. And I said to many of the women on the network, I said, look, you don't understand the power in networking. Sometimes wealth is embedded in your network. The wealthy network connections you have makes you financially independent because then you have people who can intercede for you, people who can vouch on your behalf, people
mhm,
who can open doors for you that you on your own cannot walk. So I'm so happy that you've been able to identify that aspect of financial independence. What, having worked with women for over 20 something years, I have come to realize that when you talk about financial independence, the woman is thinking about money. How will that money quickly come into my hands? And they already have plans for the money. They don't know that financial independence is a strategic way of generating income with your skills, with your connection, with your ideas. It's not just about an opportunity to make money. Thank you
yeah.
for that. And
You're
so
welcome.
before you go further, I want to see if there are questions from the audience from what you have already shared, especially Jeradan that has been with you for 7 years. Laura, if you have a word or a contribution concerning Ebere, we want to hear it from a different perspective about her in her story. Thank you. So who is going to go first? I see Rhoda is
Who
up.
wants to go?
I just think it's very inspirational listening to you, Ebere. I don't have any questions. Very inspirational.
Thank you. Thank you, Rhoda. Anyone else?
Can you also talk about your work with her?
I've actually just started sort of working with Ebere on Rise and Lead and looking where I can bring myself into the summit.
Oh, wow.
Just started. And I just think it's very inspirational to hear. And I did the keynote mastery with her, which was also very, very interesting. Very practical, I like that. I like her teaching style. It's very practical. Her courses is something that you can take with you. And even if you've been a speaker for ages, like I've been, there were a couple of things that I thought, oh, wow, this is something new. This gives me better structure. So you can always learn something, always.
Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic. I tell people that before you are a leader, you must have a followership. And if you don't have a followership, then you're not a leader. So I'm so proud and so happy that your followers, your members are here with you. And that what shows you to be a visionary leader. And that's what shows that the women that work with you believe and trust in your authentic leadership and who you are. So I want to say thank you, Rhoda. And I know that even though you're just joining the network recently, you will have a bright and successful future with Ebere, because Ebere is a woman with a heart. She doesn't only look out for herself, she looks out for everybody around her, because she's a woman. I've had personal relationship with her to know that she's a woman who wants everybody around her to succeed. So thank you for joining this program and supporting her.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. With having worked with Ebere for so many years, I can say that when you talk about leadership abilities, I recall one event, I think it was maybe 3 summits ago, where we kind of were a little bit behind. Like the summit was maybe the next week, and there was so much left to do. And the way she was able to basically, pull everyone together and delegate for everything to get done on time. And it was really one of the best summits that we've had. And, and to be able to do that, people have to trust you and trust your leadership abilities and know that, okay, she's sharing this because she's had the experience, and she had kind of let people take control, and she kind of took a step back. But then she said, no, you know what, I need to kind of step in now. Things aren't going fast enough. We have the summit around the corner. We want things to go well. We have partners. We don't want to disappoint them. Rise and Lead has a name that she's built. So, so I just wanted to just share that experience about what I've seen from her, from working with her. So
thank you so much. Thank you. It's so lovely,
Thank you very much.
Ebere, this is just a testament to your work and the impact you have on people. And I tell people, it's not what you do for people, it's how people feel being with you, what people remember having a relationship, working relationship with you. We have lots of working environment that is so toxic, so for you to have a leader who you can work with, and you are yourself, you're not tiptoeing around, you're not making appearances, you truly want to be there, you enjoy the work with her, you share her vision, is a great testimony for you, for these ladies who work with you. I see that. Is it Laura or Rhoda wants to say something?
Laura.
Yes, I'm an attendee of the Accelerating Leadership Program of Rise and Lead last year. Yeah. And so Ebere was everything in the program. And I want to focus on one thing that I really find exceptional, and is when I look at Ebere, I see that she stays true to her value in everything she does, everything she says. And this is not just authenticity, it's not just doing things, it's a way of being, and it's contagious. And I'm really happy I got the virus.
You guys are making me to kind of blush now, shed tears. Okay, thank you.
No, they're just fabulous, but it's true. I mean, when I joined the program, I was not really focused on where I was going. I was just answering all the requests I got at work. But with my path together with you in the program, I just started to ground more my choices and making value connected choices, and this changes the game.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic.
Really appreciate that. Thank you.
So
I mean,
let
this
me go
captures for me. This captures my third lesson, which is about building a network. Building it. You can't work alone.
Yeah.
You can't achieve great things alone.
No.
You can't. And so that's why I'm so happy. I remember the first time I came, I couldn't really find my tribe. I couldn't find them. Because you want to be among people who kind of, when you share your dreams and vision, they're like, yeah, go for it. The people are supporting you to do it. My people know I take a lot of risk. They were like, okay, Ebere has to come again with something new. But they know that I will deliver. Like once I say, yes, this is what we're going to do, I put in my best to make sure it works. And yeah, like what Geralda said, like being able to bring people together, for me, is also a gift. And because I do it with my heart, I really want people to succeed, like you said. I do want a lot of people to succeed. And I really want Rise and Lead for us to expand the impact we've built in the Netherlands and expand that to other countries. And because
And
even now they are talking.
I'm opening up the opportunity for us to collaborate for a workshop in DC, Washington, with the George Mason University that I can pull. If you're looking for expansion, if you want also to have seminars and workshop in South Korea, that I can also open up my network for you to also, that comes with what I talk about collaboration. Like you said, you can't walk alone, you can't do it alone. When you join forces, like I said, when women join forces, we move mountains. Things that seem impossible starts happening and people are wondering, how. I remember when we were in Tunisia, when I told the women, I said, you cannot achieve things on your own, but you have to work with people. And when we started, they started seeing organizations opening up their door, addressing us professionally. We were working on projects. They couldn't understand. They said, Mrs. Pan, how? I said, because they see us as an entity. They do not see individuals. They see a professional women, engineers, PhD holders, lawyers, accountants, educationalists. When we come together with the resources that we have, there's no institution that can turn their back on us. At least they will listen to us. At least they will have something they have to say to us, or we have to say to them. And these things work. So I'm opening up my network for you. If you want a summit in Nigeria, I also have a chapter in Nigeria. If you want a summit
Hopefully, by God's grace, we'll be in Nigeria soon, and we'll take your offer. That's not a problem. And I have travelers around me. Once we say let's go here, they are there. They'll come.
That's
So
fantastic.
yeah, this is really yeah, it's been exciting. The only last thing I want to say is that people to remember, especially expats, that just because one career ended doesn't mean everything needs to end.
Yeah.
Find a way to keep moving forward. And so, like I said, I've mentored a whole lot of people who lose their jobs and we don't know where to start from. Then we sit down and find out how to pull out the ideas and the expertise they have to show them a
Let me
path.
read some messages from the chat before I forget. So Pam, who happens to be my daughter, who has just had a baby boy, she says, welcome, Miss Ebere. And then Gerada says, South Korea, my favorite. So
He's
looking
always
forward
going
to
there. Gerardo is always going to South Korea.
it's a beautiful city. I lived there for 7 years. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So I wish everybody great success in your career or in your business. And remember that when you choose purpose over fear, you're also making room for other women.
Please, can you repeat that sentence again? Purpose.
When you choose purpose over fear, sometimes we are not taking action because we are afraid. But when you focus more on the purpose, the things you're called to do, you light the way for other people to follow. That's what I always say to people, and together we can build a world where women feel seen, where they can rise, where they can lead. Because sometimes we're just waiting for one person to take the lead.
Exactly.
Waiting for someone to just take the lead and then everyone follows. And that's what visionary leaders do. That's what we should all aim to do. Do it anyway, do it afraid.
Yes,
And
doing it afraid. I like that phrase.
make an impact. That's all. Live a life of impact.
Yeah.
Live a life of impact. Yeah. We make sure that our businesses are rooted in impact. We create events for women focused events only.
Yeah.
It's all about impact. We've worked with United Nations, in creating most of their events.
Yeah.
All the is it first ladies in Africa during the pandemic, we created all their events, And so while I do a lot for Rise and Lead, somehow God also finds a way to bless me in my
Oh,
own businesses. Yeah.
fantastic.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Yeah. So I want you to touch a little bit about your journey as a mother. Juggling. We've learned that when you were 7 months pregnant, you lost your job. That's also part of motherhood, the advantages and disadvantages of motherhood. But we want to hear from you how you were able to juggle your personal life, being a wife, being a mother, and all these fantastic projects that you've involved yourself in.
Yeah, so when I had my baby, I was my first child. I had my own business, which means I could control my time. And I've always done a business in a way that I get people to work with me from the start. I never do business alone. And so school runs, I made sure I was there. And I didn't really do the restaurant until all my children, like I had 4 children then, and the last one was 4 years old. I said, hey, this is the best time to go into restaurant because running a restaurant means your children won't be seeing you. It was a lot of work. But and so I was always there for them. So, and of course, because I lived in Nigeria where you have support from family, sisters, friends, had drivers, you have nannies, it was easier there. It was actually easier there. But I had another baby much later. That wasn't easy because I had to travel abroad, for over 5 months. But the good thing is my people still delivered, even though I wasn't there. And my children have actually grown knowing that we're in this together. Even when we're in The Hague, they will help me with all the food fairs in The Hague. Everyone knows my children because they will be the ones serving the food, loading everything. They were happy to always do it. Today, when we run the summit, initially I used to keep them away, but now they're adults. They're like, Mom, we want to be part of it. We want to help. They help. They volunteer. People don't even know they're my children because they come as volunteers and do whatever the leaders want them to do. So it's been
Fantastic. I also want to highlight that I have 3 wonderful daughters, and they're all part of my businesses. They are my team. They are my, when they say kitchen cabinet, they are
that's
my
good.
kitchen cabinet. They do my design, we brainstorm, they edit my letters, they bring ideas. As a woman, you must have that family backing to be able to help with that emotional emptiness sometimes. And when you bring your children on board, there are days you can just relax and say, my friend, can you help me draw up this is the concept and they run with it. So I like it when I see women who bring in their children into their life, into their work, because we're trying to create legacies. I tell people that if there's a charity begins at home. If you're not able to pass your legacy to your children, who is going to do that? Why are you passing your legacy to other people's children? Who is going to pick your own first? So you start at home first, making sure that your children And what is the idea of building these companies if your children are not interested? So there's no business that I'm doing that my girls are not fully aware. And now the boys also have joined, and that's what we talk about, legacy. So,
Yeah.
Ebere, thank you for also bringing that up. We must make sure that we are our children's mentor. Our children should be our mentees. They should know our voice. They should know our values. They should know how we do things so that peradventure the day we are unable to take things further, they can even take it further than we have done. Thank you so much.
You're
So,
welcome.
another note I would want to you to highlight on breaking the glass ceiling. Breaking the glass ceiling. And
Yeah.
when we talk about breaking the glass ceiling, people think it's some huge, huge expectation. But even breaking the glass ceiling in the minute things around us matters. So if you can share with us some of those
Yeah. You
impactful
see,
glass
that
ceilings.
so one of the reasons we actually started Rise and Lead, like we expanded it to include corporate, is because we saw that women were facing a lot of challenges that was stopping them from rising to the top. There were systemic barriers, there were also internal barriers, and there were societal systemic issues as well. But one thing I learned, and I think about all the things that stopped me, and I say to the women in the Rise to Leadership program, I say to them, you need to control what you are capable of controlling. And that is, you need to be able to fix the barriers that is internal within you. Because if you're able to learn how to speak up more, be more confident, add more value around you, no one can stop you. And then use your voice to advocate for yourself and others. And so what we've seen is that when they take out their own internal mask, internal barriers, things that are like self-doubts, like fear, like what if I fail, all of that. When we remove it, you see that all the women it's everything becomes a bit easier because now they know how to negotiate for themselves. They know how to advocate for themselves. And that's what we've seen. Like some of the women who are now in the C-suite, especially recent, my one of our secretaries within the Rise and Lead, yeah. She's now a CEO in a Fortune 500 company. And it's all started with believing in yourself because that's what you can control. You can't really control who hates you and who likes you. You can control what is stopping you from doing the things you know you're supposed to do. And I tell you, once you start doing that, people will recognize it. People will recognize your value and they cannot ignore you. They can't. That's how you get what you want. And I live by that. I've
Yeah.
seen it happen not just only for me, but for all my mentees.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I just love, brainstorming with you. As you're talking, it just took me back to 2015 when we sat down in your house and I was listening to you and the ideas was just flowing from one small business enterprise to another. And I was saying, hey, Barry, narrow it down. Narrow it down, and I just enjoy the passion, the creativity that exists in your mind and the
We
capacity
all
and
have it.
yeah, but
Everybody has this
for some of
pattern.
us is a daily, a struggle. Like for me, each day, and the good thing I also identify with you. You create things and hand it over. I'm a creator. There are pet projects I hold on to because that is my call. I believe that you do things that you have the knowledge and the expertise. So when I create things that I know is just out of my passion and the drive from God, I hand it over. I look for an expert and hand that project over to them. And that's why I've been able to successfully have so many projects. But the pet project that I hold on to are the ones that I know I have the educational skill, I have the knowledge skills, I have, practiced it for a long time, and I have seen the success in it. So that's an aspect of you that is just golden. You see, there are very few women who, I'll say it, and it's not to flatter you or to, there are very few women like you who do not have the fear of competition. Very few women. A lot of women are so afraid of competition. Or what if I share this knowledge? Oh, she's more eloquent than me. Oh, she's more financially. If I share this with her, or you are a woman, the sky is so broad for everybody. Because I remember when you were sharing your ideas with me, you had no any fear that, oh, this woman I'm sharing this vision with, she was going to run with it or take it. You were so transparent, and I learned from you. So, and a lot of women are being so unproductive because their knowledge
they're hiding their gifts. They're not supposed to hide your gift. And if, like what Laura said, I run in our leadership accelerator program, the
Yeah,
first thing we teach people is to know yourself. Because if I know myself, I understand my strengths, my weaknesses. I'm not going to compete with you around the area of my weakness.
yeah,
Maybe you're better than me in that area. So I stay focused on mine. So
yeah,
nothing people bring my way it doesn't move me because that's not
exactly.
my call. That is not my thing. And yes, I always say to them as well, don't ever copy people.
Mm,
Because when you copy people, you lose yourself.
yeah,
You all have gifts, you have talents. You just have to find what they are and develop them.
yeah,
And what happens is when people copy you, they can't really get it because
yeah.
you are the one who know the strategy, you know the direction, the vision of where God has sent you to be. It doesn't work that way. And
Yeah,
that's why it's so easy for me to in fact, recently I'm working with somebody who says she wants to build something like Rise and Lead. I say, oh, no problem. You pay me and I'll show you how.
yeah. So that
Yeah,
that's that's
because I've,
that's
I've
another
put a lot of
that's
value in it,
another
right?
aspect.
Yeah, I show
That
you. There's no
that's
competition, no.
yeah.
You just go learn it, do your own. And I'll
So
teach you how you can bring yourself into it so that
yeah,
you don't clone me because it will be heavy on you.
yeah. So Ebere, so what I'm going to do after this interview, I am a social entrepreneur. Everything I do is for free.
Okay. The
And I think
husband works for World Bank.
no. It comes beyond that.
Okay.
It goes beyond that because when you run with a vision, when we
Mm,
started in 2013, most of the expatriate spouses I was working with, they didn't have any money. So it was
mm,
difficult to ask them to pay because when I ask them to pay, then they disappear. These are
yeah,
women who are financially dependent on their husband, and most of
mm,
them do not have access to finances.
yeah.
So how do you tell them to pay? And then so
No,
I developed this concept of training these women to empower themselves and not to
yeah,
in any way financially embodying them. So that
yeah.
is where it's coming from. I make my money
That's
from
that's
my
diff
my
yeah.
own core career as a
Mm,
speech therapist. I run a
yeah,
specialty center in Nigeria, and
yeah.
that's where I make money there and put into my network. I'm a social entrepreneur
That,
because
that's what
I
That's what
understand
we
it.
do in
Yeah,
Rise and Lead,
yeah,
I make my money from having a business accelerator for entrepreneurs and also the events that I do and my food business. But Gerardo and I were speaking, had a meeting 2 days ago. We said for 8 years, we've run events every month for free. It's
yeah,
called Connect to Grow.
yeah,
People have been getting it for 8 years.
yeah,
We said, what if people give us the smallest amount to invest
yeah,
in what we do so we can pay people to run this thing?
yeah,
Everybody knows that everything is free, 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 free
yeah,
for us,
yeah.
you know?
And and
Yeah, so you have to define. So, for example, my business development is a
yes,
business. If
yes,
you're developing business or creating event is a business, right?
yes,
But if you're here trying to learn from us, or if you're within Rise and Lead, almost everything is like, okay,
yeah,
this person cannot afford it. Let's give it to for free.
yeah.
This And so we depend on companies to kind of help us, because
Yeah.
otherwise even the social enterprise will collapse
Yeah.
if you don't have resources
And
to run it.
another good thing that happened to social entrepreneurship is Zoom, digital.
Yeah.
So people don't have to move from places to places. There's no more renting a hotel where we're all from all over the world. We can all meet in this secured space and do what. So it has really been cost effective for what I do. Unlike before, where we have to go and collaborate with a university to give them our halls, and then we have to print physical programs. It just cut all that expenses away. That makes it very endearing for people to just zoom in at their convenience. They get the training, and they will share the materials of the trainings with them. We do one-on-one with them wherever in the world you are. We have psychologists that from somebody in Thailand, because we try to do anonymous so that their privacy, their identity is hidden. So the services that we offer for battered and domestic women are anonymous. So if you are from like Taiwan, we give you somebody from Zimbabwe, we just mismatch so that they can't trace the distance. So I want to come to you and learn about making money.
Yeah, I'm an entrepreneur, so that's
Yeah.
my
So I'll
no
contact you later.
no
I will share
problem.
one or two businesses I'm running and how I'll have the mind.
We'll find the money. We'll find the
Find the money.
money.
Thank you. So honestly, it has been a wonderful, wonderful day. I can't, this is what we do here. You know, a lot of leaders sometimes tell other people's stories, look at for other people's success. And majority of the time, it was after I had some trainings with my ladies that, sometimes they come back and say, Mrs. Pam, how do you replenish yourself? And that has really endeared me that, okay, now they know that as much as I give as a leader, I also need replenishment. So you know what? I engage them. Sometimes I'll call up one of the members. I say, I need you to just cancel me. I'm not, and they say, you're using style to train us, eh? I can't do. I say, you have to. Right now, I'm not feeling okay. This is, and then we start talking. And now I've developed a secure base of women I can share my problems with, and they know exactly how to be emotionally and physically supportive to what I'm going through, just the way I am for them. So I'm happy to meet your team. I'm happy that they came, because that is the purpose of this interview, that you come with your crew, they come and add to.
I thank them more because we're supposed to have like a meeting for the summit, and
Yeah.
I had to move the meeting, and they were so great. They were gracious to allow me to move the meeting, and I
Oh,
said, "Oh,
fantastic.
I'm entering this place." So they've
Yeah.
had a long day.
Yeah.
So I just
Thank you
wanted to
so
say
much.
thank you for having us.
Thank you so
And
much.
this is the beginning, and
This is the
we'll
beginning.
continue having this conversation and see where it leads us to.
Yeah, thank you. So
Thank you.
before we
Thank
go,
you,
just
Laura. Thank you, Rhoda, Giralda, for your support and vote of confidence.
thank you.
You are making
Thank
me
you. Thank you
blush.
for inviting us. Thank you for
Yeah,
inviting
thank
us.
you.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to spending more time and interacting on a bigger scale in the
That's
future.
fine. That's
Thank
fine. And
you.
and we have our summit in September, in The
Okay.
Hague. We still meet in The Hague every
Yeah.
year, which we
Okay.
started 8 years ago. And
Yeah. So
yeah, so
if you send me an invitation and I see how the timing works with me, I might show up. It would be a nice time to come to the Hague again.
that would be nice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.